Welcome back to Let's Play Sonic Lost World. Last time we beat up Xena in Frozen Factory Zone 4, and this time we're moving on to another somewhat generic Mario-type level in Silent Forest. He's back.
Sonic is more formidable than I anticipated.
Yes, he would make a powerful slave. Eggman taught us how to make robots.
So we'll make the Hedgehog a robot. Excellent plan, Master.
I'm sure you would have thought of it yourself, given time.
Time. Something Sonic is running out of.
I smell another plot thread that may or may not go anywhere. Alright, we are back on the cylindrical level design, but this time we have more I cannot speak. More rails to deal with. So, there are these mushroom guys. A lot of this level and a lot of the enemies you see within this level are very reminiscent of Mushroom Hill Zone and Sonic 3 and Knuckles. That's gonna get me hurt. Okay, very nice. So, right up here, we have spiders. Ooh, with Animal Crossing New Horizons just recently released, this is actually a little bit frightening to me. But anyway, spiders. They have these little butterflies in them. Why is that something I couldn't think of? I've been playing Animal Crossing a lot, and I've been catching a lot of them, so, you know, I literally just brought it up. It shouldn't have been a problem for me to remember that. But anyway, the way you deal with those guys is pretty dang simple. You homing kick them and then you homing attack onto them. This is another thing people just don't seem to understand, where instead of just homing kicking onto them or like homing attacking onto them once and realizing, that doesn't work, maybe I should use the other thing that this game has introduced to me. People just go, the homing attack isn't working, what's wrong, and then continue to homing attack. Or at least I've seen some reviewers do that, but I don't know if that's a really good indicator of the rest of the population. Reviewers tend to be slightly worse at games than a lot of other people, but anyway. There are these flowers. What you want to do is ground pound. I am mixing up Sonic and Mario very frequently recently, I guess. You want to, it's not a stomp either. What's it called? Bounce on them. Bounce, that's right, because of the bounce bracelet in Sonic. Okay, yeah. Anyway, you want to bounce onto them. And, you want to be very careful. It's gonna give me a red ring. I forgot that there was a thing there. I was like, how am I gonna get that? They're pretty simple. If you get caught in them, you'll be damaged, because they do close again. You can only open them for so long. Colors of this, I cannot speak. Flowers with the same color will open whenever you stomp on them. They're kind of connected that way. These guys are really annoying. The alligators can be a bit of a hassle to deal with, especially when they pop out frequently like that and you act like an idiot like me. Otherwise, this is pretty simple. There are some guys here that can be really annoying. You saw earlier that I got caught in a mushroom and died. There are mushrooms that'll be thrown by certain enemies that'll actually carry you around. They are super annoying. They will, more often than not, throw you into the toxic sludge, which makes you take damage. So it's a bit of a hassle to deal with. You saw that I died earlier to it. These guys show up a little bit. They're not particularly fun to fight, but they're not hard either. A lot of people just don't know how to deal with them, so that's how you deal with them. They're really not that bad. Dude, I don't know what's wrong with me. I recorded another episode just fine before this. What's up? There are some weird little bug thingies that will... Okay, this is actually really not safe for me, especially considering the fact that I have no rings. There are some bug things that'll shoot lasers out of them. They just make it so that you have to move away from an area. These guys are going to be annoying very quickly. Let's kill them. Oh, I do have rings on me. Never mind. I was scared for nothing. These guys create shockwaves, so they are actually a little bit more threatening than they may initially seem. They also take 2 hits because they have the mushrooms on them, so be careful there. There we go. Oh, I spoke too soon. There we go. All of those guys are free. So right up here, what you want to do is be careful to not get eaten by the alligators, and also be careful to not get caught up in those lasers. That's how these guys are used pretty interestingly. They're kind of like a, for lack of a better term, vibe check to those who are going a bit too fast with a little bit too little brains, if you will. But that's that. This zone's not all that bad. I don't know why people don't like it all that much. It's fine.
Something's not right.
Huh. Must have missed this one.
Sonic, it's a trap!
Tails, no! Those rotten, sneaky...
Tails acted for the greater good. Let's make sure his sacrifice isn't for nothing.
I'm supposed to be the fastest, but I was too slow to save my buddy.
Oh, that's just such a weird line. Like, it makes sense and it works to an extent, but it's also like, for the Sonic fan in me that does not care for deeper plots, that was just funny. Like, it's a monologue where Sonic's like, oh, I'm supposed to be so fast, but I can't. And it reminds me of that one image where it's like, you know, what's the worth in being fast if you can't run out on route? I cannot speak. I'll just put it up on screen. It's funnier than me saying it anyway, so whatever. But otherwise, Tails is now gone. It's not going to be a detriment to us gameplay-wise, and it's really not going to mean all that much until a little bit later in the game. But he's gone now. That's it. No more Sonic and Tails action. It's just Sonic and Eggman now. Otherwise, let's just hop right in. I feel like there's something I'm missing. But I guess I'll have to remember later. Zone 2.
Sigh. Everything seems so pointless.
Hey, what did you do with Tails?
What? Seriously? We captured you.
You wish. You grabbed my friend and I want him back.
Man, this day keeps getting lamer and lamer. Whatever. I gotta go tell the others the bad news. Giving bad news is actually the one thing I enjoy. I'll deal with you later, loser.
Ha ha! Edgy man with Rose contemplating his own life. That is hilarious. Yeah, again, it's just another stereotype. There's really nothing too interesting going on with the Deadly Six. I've said it before, and pretty much every single time the new stereotypes come up, it'll be said again, because it's kind of hard to ignore. So there are these guys, they're big metal pigs that act like thwomps, kinda. It's a little bit weird, actually. Well, I'm not getting up there. Okay, that sucks. Oh, that's right. Okay. So the pigs I was kicking in an earlier episode, I was actually a bit wrong about them. Because in actuality, they are not the pigs that you can kick the bombs back at. The smaller ones are actually pigs that you just kind of have to ignore the bombs for. But when it comes to those big old golden pigs, oh, that's when you can get the kicking action on. You wait until they kick out something like that or throw out something like that from their belly, and then you kick it back. Because kicking a bomb is understandably painful, and it's a little bit easier to kick it back when it has a golden exterior, I guess. So right there, I just kind of wanted to show that off. You can still do a lot of that grabbing. That actually shows up a lot more than I initially thought it would. I'm kind of scared. Okay, no, I'm fine. Slicers. Ugh. Grossos. They're not that bad in this game, but in other 2D Sonic games, they are understandably feared. So, we do have a new Wisp here, and I will end up showing him off after I die. I would like to make an argument for myself. This Wisp is so pointless that I actually forgot I needed to use it in this case scenario because it looked like Sonic could go through that just fine. This is Rhythm. What does he do? Well, you tap on the gamepad screen and you move around to places that you probably could have gotten to just fine without Rhythm. Yay! Rhythm is incredibly pointless. It's a Wisp which I guess is harmless, all things considered, but it's harmless to the point where it's just like, who thought? Yeah, this is neat. We should do this. And if it was used in areas that didn't seem perfectly acceptable for Sonic to make it through otherwise, then I would kind of be fine with it. but there's just nothing interesting done with him. You use him to occasionally move between areas that you can't move through normally because for some reason that specific loop-de-loop doesn't work for Sonic. It's just, it's an odd choice. Something else though, we are now seeing the real gimmick of this area. This zone has an owl that has a very keen eye. If you get caught by this owl with a very keen eye, I'm actually gonna wait, I had to pull out my my stylus, I was unaware. Oh, is he not gonna move? Hold on. There we go. There we go. I knew he was gonna try to trick me. I had to pull out my stylus, so I wanted to wait for a second. But no, it's so odd. Like, Rhythm is such a pointless wisp, and he only works in very specific case scenarios, and a lot of the time it just seems like, you know, shouldn't Sonic be able to go through these areas normally as is? There should be no real reason that Rhythm is needed here. The reason he works in this stage specifically, and the reason it's not, you know, that bad, is because he does actually give you invulnerability to the searchlight. They're looking for Sonic. They're not looking for a big pink thing. So they don't actually catch you if you're using Rhythm, which is, you know, interesting enough. But it doesn't salvage the Wisp at all. It's just, there's so much they could have done, man. And they don't do any of it. They don't do any of it. But yeah, just take cover. It's really nothing too special. You can take cover behind bushes, which don't disappear. You can take cover behind owls, which do eventually fly away and disappear. So that searchlight actually is an instant death, if I remember correctly, if you get caught by it. So be a little bit careful there. Don't just go all willy-nilly, platforming like crazy. I know that makes some people a little bit mad, and they don't particularly like this level because of it. This is one of the levels I see complained about more often than not. And all things considered, it's really not that bad. I find it to be enjoyable as long as you know what you're doing and you're not being a little bit of a doofus head. So, you know, that's really about it. The level itself is pretty dang simple, pretty basic platforming, nothing too special going on there. So the way this boss works, I do remember this one. We are moving in a 2D area, which is actually a little bit more interesting visually than any of the other bosses. And what you want to do is wait for one of these things to get low enough to the point where you can not homing kick it. Okay, there we go, homing kick it, and make it come back and hit him. You want to do that a few times for this phase, I think, right? Might have just been one, I'm not entirely sure. But you just want to do that, and then homing attack him later. Those things, once they reach the ground, will blow up. I forgot about that much. But yeah, it's not too bad of a boss fight. It's pretty easy to get used to, pretty easy to deal with. He is a little bit of a doofus. He's a pretty easy fight for this late in the game. The platforming may get harder, but the bosses certainly do not. They remain a similar amount of difficulty. I do kind of want to grab some ring. Oh, okay. I was so close. So I do want to say, even though I died once to this boss fight, it's really still not hard. The fact that I died because I wasn't paying attention, really, and I was kind of pushing my luck doesn't show the difficulty of a boss fight at all, really. It just shows that I need to pay a bit more attention and I need to stop being so cocky. But it's still not a hard fight. Nonetheless, it does not gain the mantle of a difficult fight simply because I died to it once. Speaking of, he's done now. That's it. He's dead. I was one hit away from winning the fight, and then I got a little bit too cocky and I lost, so doesn't count. Never happened. You didn't see it. With that, we are halfway through Silent Forest. We are making our way through this game really quickly, actually. But anyway, next time on Let's Play Sonic Lost World. This zone looks familiar, but at the same time, it's a little bit different. So next time, we'll be entering that and finishing off Silent Forest and moving on to the next area. But again, that's for next time. Until then.